Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shop Talk Park Slope. And this time around, we have Jeremy Weiman, I believe. It's Weiman, yes?
Weiman, yeah.
Yes, Jeremy Weiman. I got to make sure I get that name right. Jeremy Weiman of Beanmonger Coffee, one of the newest additions to the area. Very excited to have you on today. Thanks for joining us.
Very excited. Thanks for having me here in your podcast, in your show, basically, pretty much, in your chat. You're reaching out. What you're doing for the community surely is a big blessing. Connecting all the small businesses and putting us in the map on like the future residents that are going to be coming to Park Slope is a big thing for me and a lot of the residents and the businesses as well. Like, thanks.
Well, I'm happy to do it because you have such a fabulous new shop. And speaking of said shop, tell people about Beanmonger Coffee. What is it? What you guys got to offer? Like what's it all about?
Yeah, so just the vision behind it is like being such a big nerd. I transcend with a lot of these in tavern, those kind of spaces that you would find in a lot of these adventure games. And I was chatting with Jeff because this is his dream, is to open up his own shop. And for me, having the creative insight and knowing what works, we were like volleying things that are, things that we don't necessarily see in New York City. And I do feel like there is a lot of cool curated spots that are very clean, modern, it's minimalistic, and I wanted to stray away from that one and bring the comfort in, bring things that are so rare to find in the city, but are so abundant in Park Slope, which is a very neighborhood kind of feel to it. And how do we kind of like add into that one by having like a tavern, this kind of in feeling where it feels like an extension of every living room as a collective of neighborhoods coming in here together and just reading a book, working. And it's such a cliche for everyone to say that it's a neighborhood vibe to it, but I do think that you can only do so much with coffee. You can have the best coffee, but I do think that what this place miss, or in general what the city miss, is like just that neighborhood feel to it, and just being able to come in, really having a spot. And I feel like that's what we excel. And me and Jeff are very service-oriented people. We enjoy being around people, and we genuinely care to how they're spending their money, how they're spending their time. And so that's where we want to excel, is making sure that people are having a great time. So it's the vision behind it.
So it sounds like you're really trying to cultivate this space where you don't just go and get your coffee or your pastries or things like that and stuff. You don't just grab and go, although people totally could do that because you're very close to the subway. So yes, they can pop in and get their morning cuppa on their way to work. But you're really trying to go for a place where people feel like they can come in and stay and relax and take a beat. Is that right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's like, and as well, it's, it gets lost in a lot of spaces, but, true enough, a lot of these shops, it is a place to gather. It is a place to kind of have a recollecting time with friends. And why not add into that with a service that embodies the same mood, right? So I do think that I could say that, it's me and Jeff's work that made this successful, but it really lies with starting from the people who built this place, basically giving them the vision the vision, and them embodying the same thing. It boils all the way to the crew members that we have and how they see who we are, and they instill that same character. And it just like, I always say this to Jeff, how blessed we are that we are in this community where everyone wants to support small businesses, and yet it feels the same way with the crew. They feel like, hey, this feels new to us. Like they've worked in other shops before, and it feels very fast paced. People just go in and out. And in here, people actually spend time to interact and just to go beyond just the monotonous days in living and just the small talks and actually ask how their day is. And so they want to foster that and want to keep that relationship. And that is, I feel like, what makes us unique. You know, we can say things that it's all about the decor, but in the truth of it, it really is just the presence of the neighborhood. And yeah, that's just how I see it.
So yeah, it sounds like the shop that you guys really vibe off the neighborhood, and your neighborhood is going to vibe off of you folks too. Yeah,
that's for sure.
I think
so. Our first shop, so we were really scared of like, how are we going to be perceived? And yet, true enough, they do want us to succeed, and you can feel it every day. You know, you come in with so much gratitude when people just walks in and just puts a smile on your face that they are willing to support or spend their hard worth money on us. So yeah, thanks, Nikki.
So there, speaking of coffee, one of the things I'm always curious about is, how do you decide what to carry in your shop? Because there's a lot of coffee out there. I mean, it's almost just like, I'm, super, super duper into tea, and there's loads of tea out there. And I kind of feel like, especially in America, the coffee culture is way more developed, I think, in many ways than the tea culture. So as someone who's like, all right, I'm going to set up this, wonderful, kind of coffee shop. How do you decide like what coffees you're going to offer to your customers?
We just mainly decide. In the beginning of this stage, it was just me and Jeff deciding what blend we're going to be making, we're going to be using. And we chose Partners just because it's the most accessible in terms of flavor. It doesn't feel like it's too, superficial in terms of like what the character is. It's just like, it's straight up, it's going to give you this note, it's going to be dark, it's going to be chocolatey. And we want that to be, and we just want to do it right. And that's the key for us. And in terms of like seasonal drinks, like the whole crew, we kind of like meet up and say, hey, how do we change it up for a jumpstart menu for the coming new year? So do we need more healthier drinks, or do we need to celebrate Lunar New Year? So we do that as a collective, and like it's fun. Like we would go shopping around and we would see like black sesame powder, and we would add that one and play around it.
Oh, cool!
And so we're definitely not like the coffee snob that this is the only. It's like the 5 coffees and this is all you get. Like I know for me, I'm a sweet coffee drinker and I like it light and sweet, and I know that some people shares the same taste profile, and so we want to really cater for that sense, but without really going overboard and on like losing our identity as well as a company. So yeah, it pretty much is a collective on how we decide.
So it sounds like then you're not necessarily all about like, oh, I have to carry this brand or that brand, that it's really more about like, what flavors are you and your team enjoying at the moment, or what have you tasted that's interesting or fun or is kind of fitting like the vibe of the season, like that kind of thing. So you're not like necessarily kind of obsessed with it has to be from here, it has to be from there, it's got to be that and that sort of thing.
Yep, absolutely. It is, I do feel like any palate would change, but every beans have some quality in them, and the process of brewing them in the best way. And we're very blessed to have a crew that is very specific and very talented and very precise on making sure that every cup does come out great. There's like a limit. I can go more scientific in that one, but it's basically like the ratio of it is correct every single time.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think with both tea and coffee, you can get super duper technical with it. Like I know for me, it was mind blowing when I discovered the difference that temperature is everything in terms of in tea. I don't know, is it the same way with coffee or no?
Oh yeah, definitely it is. I would not be the best person. I'm sure I crash course my way into like a whole year of studying this one, and we live in an informative age, so I kind of just YouTube all and watch a day by day basis of like what barista would work on, or how roasters do. But it's a big thing. It's just like it does matter where it came from, the single origin, even how the light affects the beans on how they're being grown. All of it matters, and it goes the same way with tea. There's ceremonial that are specifically harvested in specific time,
right?
And all of that accounts for what a specific good tea is. But yeah, but at the same time, we can't discount the cheaper beans just because there's more expensive one, because there's people that would appreciate that as well. So I do feel like having a selection of good beans, but just knowing what to do with it is like our strength with the crew. Is we really do try to curate it as much as we can. And yeah, that's the answer that I could give.
So now you don't just have coffee on display. Obviously, coffee is like the most important aspect of the business because it's in the name.
It's in the name.
Yeah. But you do also have an assortment of just, kind of pastries and teas. I mean, just basically kind of tell people kind of what, like, it's because Beanmonger isn't just a place for somebody to come in to get a cup of coffee. There's other things they can come in and get for. So what other things do you guys also sell at the shop?
We definitely want to support the small businesses that are around Brooklyn. So there's we basically chose Tea Pigs as our tea of choice, just basing from tasting all their teas, and we really gravitate around the flavors of what they have. But at the same time, as pastries goes with the drinks that we have, the canned drinks, we do want to supply Brooklyn-made products. So yeah, from the pastries that we have, a few of them are from Cecilia, Tolston's, Hungry Gnome, what's the name of Bienqui. So we vary them as well, but basically all of it is gonna be made here in Brooklyn.
It's a very strong Brooklyn-based vibe.
Yeah.
I like that.
Keeping it in the borough.
Yes, keeping it in the borough. So, so when it comes to how you ended up finding your spot, right? Because if you want to get really technical, some people would be like, oh, you're right across the border from Park Slope because you're on the other side of 4th Avenue, whatever. I still think that's part of Park Slope. but you're literally right there. You're right there kind of like at the So did you pick, I'm curious, did you pick that location on purpose, or was it more so that that's the location that kind of came at the right time for you? Or were you already kind of eyeing like that general area?
It just really came at the right place at the right time. But at the same time, I am a person that if I love the place, I usually kind of, even if the price isn't right, I just kind of like dig into it and, you just claw your way in it. But at this part, we have an amazing, landlord, and it just flowed so well. It's just like, it comes to show where if it's right, it's right. But the space itself is just amazing, just because not only you get the grittiness of like what Gowanus has and the industrial feel to it, and at the same time you see this warehouse that I wish our cap is the same, and that's pretty much the same inspiration that we get it from. But you get the homier vibe, the suburban city vibe in Park. So in a way, you kind of marry that together, and it collides in here. And I don't know. For me, it's so unique. Like the customers that come in here varies from people who are very are in are artists, and they're doing paintings throughout the afternoon. That's why they're getting coffee from morning people who's like sending their kids to school.
Oh wait, so you actually have people who will paint in the shop?
Oh no. Meaning to say that they would like head to their studio.
Oh, okay. But I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That
would be cool. Yeah.
If you want to make a painting, I guess as long as you don't take up too much space from other people's spotlight, come to the cafe and paint.
I mean, it's something that we surely wanted to tackle some days, like have it as a space to be used as for showing their artwork and having like a gallery for the night. Yeah. So yeah, definitely part of the plan. But yeah, we're really blessed to be in this community that we get to have the best of both worlds for sure, and still have that feeling of Brooklyn. You get the grittiness of it, and you get the heart and the home that you get from the families.
Now, speaking of Park Slope, and it's been clear throughout just kind of chatting with you how much you really enjoy and appreciate the community. So what are some of the other businesses, shops, and restaurants that you personally enjoy throughout the neighborhood? Like, who do you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah. So there's just a lot for sure. Palo Santo really resonates with me in terms of their design. That's someone that really has such an artistic eye towards like the place. And whenever I'm going to new places, if I see those space, I would know that this neighborhood is special. One more place would be World Bagel. That place is just very, it's a mash of like different things, but it just works. It's just beautifully made. The service is amazing. And yeah, it's just, you can feel what Brooklyn was all about. You know, it's a classic bagel shop, and that's what it embodies. And just that strip as well, just like you're right next to the farmer's market on the Sundays, I think. And you have the gelato shop. Yeah, it's brilliant. Few more things would be the Hanyo. They have really good Korean restaurant. Oh my God, brunch in Miriam, and having the skewers next to them, it's brilliant as well. Buffet and the Indian buffet that we always go to. So yeah, it's just there's a lot of great spots in here for sure.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, you are certainly a welcome new spot to the community. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Again, this is Jeremy Weiman. He's one of the co-owners of Beanmonger Coffee, located on Union Street, right at 4th Avenue. So, sorry, say that. Is the address again?
620 Union.
620 Union. And it's literally right there at the intersection between Union and 4th Avenue. You can take the R train and boop, you're literally right there. But again, thanks so much for coming on. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. I hope to see you again in person soon, because Tea Pigs is one of my favorite brands. So I like it. So I love, yes, and I still need to try some of those pastries, as I had not had it. And when you talked about who you source them from, I'm like, okay, those are some of my local favorites. So I'm going to be popping in there to get some food. All right, folks. I am Nikki R. Thomas, licensed associate real estate broker with the Corcoran Group. This has been Shop Talk Park Slope, and I will see you again on the next edition. Thanks so much.